Hello guys, today I want to show how to make a simulation of a ball escaping rotating rings. I'm sure you guys have seen one of these videos on TikTok or Shorts getting millions of views and likes. To make the simulation is very simple, and in this video I'll demonstrate to you guys how to do it on Unity. First, you'll have to create a 2D project, and at the very beginning this is how your default will look like, only the main camera is in the scene. I have also prepared some assets to be used in the making of this simulation. You can download them from the link in the description. Let's start by dragging the ring sprite into the scene. We'll scale it to an appropriate size. Then let's create a circle and rename it as ball. We'll also create an empty object that we'll be using as Ring Manager later. Select the ring and let's add an edge collider and edit its position. We will use this collider as a trigger collision, which means that if the ball collide with this, they won't physically interact but will still register the collision. So we need to tick the as trigger box. We'll add another edge collider, and we want set its as trigger for this one, and we need set the points along the rings. We will also add a circle collider to the ball and a rigid body to it. Let's test it out. Well, that was very anticlimactic. Let's adjust the size and make them slightly bigger. To make the ball more bouncy, we will add physics material. You can set the bounciness to whichever you find best. Drag the material to the rigid body material. Okay, it bounces nice. Now let's create a script for the ball. We'll control the speed of the ball programmatically. Create a variable for the rigid body component and then assign the component by using the getComponent function. We will run this in the start function. We will use onCollision_Enter to detect when the ball collides with something. We will adjust the speed of the ball only when it collides, and the speed is lower than a speed we set, which in this case is 2. I guess 2 is a little bit too low. Let's experiment with higher speed. Eight seems nice. Now create a script for the ring. We'll rotate it in this case by the Z-axis. create a variable for rotation speed. Let's try 30. Okay, that's good. We will now set the ring to be disabled when the trigger event is registered. Now let's create more rings and adjust the size accordingly. We'll make 10 of them for now. We will create a variable called ring number so that we will be able to identify each ring. We will set it to public because we want to set in from the ring manager later. Hidden inspector is used so that we will not see it in the editor. In order to have the rings move in different speed, the most inner ring will move the fastest and the most outer will move the slowest. We'll use ring number to mathematically set the ring's pace. Now we'll create Ring Manager script. Create a list for rings and create a variable ring count. Then we will assign ring count by using rings.count, which will give us the number of rings exists. We will create a for each loop that we will use to assign each ring's ring number. Assign the rings into the ring list in the Ring Manager. Highlight and just drag them into the slot like I did. Oh, we had an error. Let's take a look where we went wrong. The problem was that the start function for the rings ran earlier than the start function in Ring Manager, which means that we need to put the block of code that we wrote in Ring Manager in the awake function, which will be running earlier than start function. Let's test it again, and oops, I guess we haven't solved the problem yet. Oh yeah, we need to assign the Ring Manager first, my bad. There's no error now, but why are the rings still rotating at the same speed? It's because in our formula, we used ring count and ring number. Both of them are integers, which means dividing both will give us an integer rather than decimals or float. So we'll just write float here and it will tell the compiler to treat the value as float. There you go. I think it goes too fast, so we will add another condition, which will only set the ball speed if the collision is lower than a speed we set, and if the collision happens at a y position lower than 0. We also will want to change the rotation direction of the rings every time the ball escapes one of the rings. We will write a line here that will change the value of the direction every time the ball escapes. We also need a variable called current ring for us to know in which ring we are at the current moment. We will update it here so that every time the ball escapes, the current ring's value increase by 1. We will use the value to adjust the speed of the ball. Since the space of the ring gets bigger every time the ball escapes, we need to make sure that the speed of the ball scales well, or else we might have the ball going too slow. I couldn't assign it here because I made a mistake referencing to a different ring manager. Notice that there wasn't an underscore at the front. I was referencing to another ring manager script that I wrote while experimenting. You might not have to worry about this problem though. It's going too fast here. Let's slow it down. Let's also make it that we can adjust rotation speed from the ring manager. I'll play with the gravity scale to achieve a nice and calm simulation. You can set it to whichever you find best. it's too quiet, let's add sound effects. Add an audio source to the bowl and drag the collision audio into the audio clip slot. You should also untick the play on a wake box so that it will not play when the simulation starts. We will need to reference the audio source in the code, so we write this in here. I created a list for the audio clips. You don't really have to since we only have one other audio clip, which is the trigger audio clip, so we can just assign it right away. But if it's too confusing, you can just copy what I did. This line will play the collision audio since that's what we assign it to in the inspector. We will use play one shot for the trigger audio, and we will write the line in on trigger enter. Don't forget to assign the clips right. The order is important. And after a few changes in graphic design, this is the result. If you enjoy the tutorial, I appreciate it if you can leave a like and a sub. Good luck in making your own, and thanks for watching.